One day I'm gonna be everything I wanna be. I don't let it get the most of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be everything I'm gonna be. My future right in front of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be free. Then let me be free. One day I'm gonna be free. Mentally and physically, emotionally and spiritually. One day I'm gonna be free. We're standing at the crossroads, feeling like a lost soul. Don't know where I wanna go, but all I know is I wanna be free. They're telling me to let it be, but that just ain't in me, no. Jealousy and envy, but all I see is I wanna be free. See everything I wanna be, exactly what I'm gonna be. Don't let it get the most of me. Eventually, I'm gonna be free. See everything I wanna be, exactly what I'm gonna be. Yeah. One day I'm gonna be free. I'm gonna be free. Let me be free. One day I'm gonna be free. Mentally and physically, emotionally and spiritually. Yeah. One day I'm gonna be free. I told them take their aim off me. Stop trying to get a name off me. If they would just let me be, I'm gonna be free. I told them take some chains off me and throw away the locks and keys. If they would just let me be, eventually I'm gonna be free.
Looks like any other tap water. Clear, clean, and fresh.
Are some people hesitant to drink this?
But what I'm about to sip starts as this.
So what you've got is the raw sewage being generated by more than 1 million people.
It's a unique water treatment program being run in Orange County, California.
I think people would be surprised at what goes on after they flush the toilet and what it takes to make clean water.
Normally, processed sewage water is dumped into the ocean, but instead, it's being piped next door.
That's really what makes this project stand out, is the technology that we use to turn that water into near distilled water.
First, treated sewage water is microfiltered. Those bubbles, leftover soap.
It removes any bacteria, protozoa, or suspended solids out of the water.
Then, reverse osmosis.
It very effectively removes any dissolved minerals, viruses, or pharmaceuticals that may be in the water.
Finally, a quick flash of UV light, and it's ready.
It's better than the bottled water that we get off the shelf.
Every day, 100 million gallons of water is processed this way. The former sewage, a sustainable source of local water, since people aren't going to stop taking showers or flushing the toilet anytime soon.
What people don't realize is they've been drinking wastewater their entire life. They just haven't realized it.
Has no smell.
tastes like water, it's water.
Damn.
What's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? Thank you all for coming out tonight. Once again, I'm Archbishop Mike Ball, together with the Diamond Effect. So, that first video, what'd you think about that, my man?
You know, I can't say I didn't see this kind of coming because I always had an idea in my own mind. I worked on a yacht when I was younger and when I was very young. And when I did that, I knew that we had a water maker. So we would make water fresh, drinking water, good enough to drink off of seawater. And there was a machine inside the yacht that did that. And so I always thought to myself, why don't we just do that? You know what I mean? But so to me, this is not actually super surprising, but for sewage and all of that, that's radical.
Right. When I first seen that, like I said, this wasn't the story that we was gonna do tonight. And when I
Right.
seen that video there, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna make a sharp left. We about to talk about this.
Yeah.
Now I know that in California they have droughts. I mean, they have
Yes.
serious droughts over there. But I know that this year in particular, they've been seeing more rain and snow than anything. So they've actually been filling up to the point that there was actual desert spots that lakes was forming in the desert because there's been so much water there. Now,
Hmm.
now that was my thinking. What you just said. Okay, so you are a coastal state. You right by the Pacific Ocean. So why
Right.
can't you pump in seawater,
For
do the
real.
same process, take the salt out, and make it fresh water, as opposed to shoveling somebody turd and refining it like you done pick the lumps out of it and done strained it and ran it through a couple of filters and then okay, it's cool enough to drink. You know what I mean? It's still exactly that's what it is. You
It
know,
is.
you know what I mean? That's what it is all day. But
Oh
you
my
think like,
God.
okay, so, I mean, like, who came up with that idea? Like, okay, let's just take this water here. We just, take the
Put
shovel and
it
flip the
through a whole
out,
bunch of filters.
and here you go. Boom, you can drink it.
Yeah.
You know,
No, that's rough. I I
but they
I don't know. They should stick with the seawater idea.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. You know what I mean? The earth is 90% water.
Right.
So but
Let's stop playing around here.
right, it's 90% water. So you got 90% of you got seawater out here, and you can't figure out a way to to refine that and take a little salt out of it. Okay, the water may be
Right.
a little salty. Okay, it may be a little salty, but it's better than tasting a little shitty. You know what
Mhm.
I mean?
That's a fact. I'd way rather that. Man, that's crazy. So,
Man,
and that's it, they said in Orange County, California. Now, that's where I grew up, where I moved to when I was 12 and then I lived there until I was 25. So, I have a lot of history within Orange County. So, that's very interesting. I had no idea that they're doing that right here right now.
now
That's
Orange
crazy.
County is that L.A.? Is that Los
No,
Angeles?
it's the one county south of Los Angeles.
Okay.
It's kinda known as the "red county," quote, unquote. You know what I mean? It's like the
Uh,
richer, more conservative suburban houses, stuff like that.
also, also that's why they don't mind drinking shit. Then you know
Yeah.
what? Electric cars and smell their own farts and all that.
Right, right. Facts.
So, yeah. So this show tonight, what we're gonna be talking about is everybody knows there is a water shortage. It was a water shortage everywhere, not just in the U.S. but in other countries as well. And a lot of people talk about this, whether it's global warming or Is this harping included in this or whatever that you think or believe in or whatever? But this is what's going on. But here's the problem, though. What a lot of you don't know is that a lot of these billionaires are buying up all the water rights. Because you think about it, those who control the water basically controls everything. Now,
Hmm.
back a couple years ago, we were um, in the news. They were talking about Bill Gates, and they was talking about how Bill Gates was buying all of this property, all around the nation. He was buying all this farmland, and then,
Farmland. That was a whole big ordeal. Yep,
right,
I remember that.
agricultural stuff and all that. But it all turned out that he was buying that land not because he was buying it for farmland. He was buying the land simply because of the water, the groundwater that was underneath that land.
Mm.
And in that particular area, it was vast. It was uh like 80, 90 million gallons that was in this one particular area. So
Damn.
so they basically been going around all this land that these people are buying, and people thinking like, oh well, they just buying it because they want to develop here, they want to do something here. They're not trying to do nothing. They want the water that's underneath it.
Makes
So this
sense. That see, agriculturally, they're thinking they don't care about what that little shack above looks like or a brand new house looks like or what farmland looks like. They got all the money downstairs. Damn.
Mhm. And see, and then too, what a lot of people don't realize is that not only do they buy the water rights, but what exactly does that water right mean? Okay, so I'm gonna play this video right quick to show you about the thing with Bill Gates, and then I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna tell you exactly what this water right means.
Mm.
The king and his men stole the queen from her bed and bound her in her bones. The seas be ours, and by the powers where we'll
Okay, so now it makes definite sense. You want to they're trying to privatize this, obviously,
Right,
and it's not just sole ownership and making money in that regard. They control all of the disbursement of the water. And
right,
that's control.
right. So they want to control all the actual fresh water, but then in return, like they buy all the fresh water. They get all the rights to the land for the fresh water. But then you turn around like in California, you recycle shit. You give it to everybody else. But I want this land right here because this water here is mine. You know. Now over in Texas, another example, another billionaire by the name of T. Boone Pickens. A lot of people know who he is. I've heard him years ago. He has a stadium over in Texas.
Hmm.
But he bought the water rights to more than 200,000 acres um, of land, which produces 65 billion gallons of water per year. Okay,
Whoa.
65 billion gallons of water per year. He owns all the water rights to it. Now, here's the thing: there's another guy that he actually owns private land over here, and his name is Gary Harrington, and he owns 170 acres in that area. Now, he was fined because he was collecting rainwater. He was collecting the rainwater, using it for his crops, feed the animals, stuff like that. He was just using the rainwater.
That's an example you can't do in California.
Right.
You
So
can't collect rainwater.
right. So he was in turn penalized because in this land here, even if it rained on that on that property, even the rainwater belongs to him. So,
How do you swing that?
because that's how it's made up. It's anything dealing with water on that particular land. So the clouds come through and it rain. That's my
It's
water.
all theirs. Yeah, it's mine.
Right. This is my water. And if you contain
Wow.
it, trap it, or any way, you steal it. You know what I mean? Even though it was your property, but I own the water rights. So I own every
Right. No,
you drop
now this is all making sense of
right.
why this was happening. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
They go
Wow.
so they going through and they buying all this land because it has water underneath. So if you turn around and you buy all the water, and let's just say that something happens at any given time, this is what they're talking about when water is going to jump up. When you're paying 50, 60, $70 for a 24 pack of water, because everybody's buying the rights to this fresh water. That's what
Wow.
they're doing. So once they
Damn.
own it all, then what? They set the price. But why would you set the price on something that's supposed to be free?
It is
Water should
supposed to be free.
Yeah, water should be free.
I thought that's a human right.
Right. Now, if you paying for, let's say if you go pay for bottled water or something like that, okay, they gotta process it and all that stuff. Yeah, you're
Right.
gonna pay. But the average water running down the streams through canals, rivers, streams, ponds, that's free water. That's free.
Yeah. That should be available to the public. Absolutely.
Right. Just like the guy was saying earlier in one of the videos we was watching, that how is it that you have a single mother who's struggling to try to pay her bills and she can't pay her water bill and her water gets cut off, but the guy next door has a below ground pool that he can hook a fire hose up to and run it back there and fill his pool up, and doesn't even get charged for it.
Right. Right.
You know,
Yeah.
so which one is lacking?
Mm. Yeah, I like this comment. How can someone think they have the right to claim water that falls out of the sky? And that's the level of manipulation and money. What they care about is, like, for instance, their property that is maybe owned by them, but they own the water rights. They want that rain to go onto that property. And the amount of control that this is doing, and they see this, probably they saw this 30 years ago, and was like, man, we can work our way to, like, literally own the world, or own at least the nation.
Exactly. Exactly. Now, like right now, you may have some people that think like, okay, well, why is this a big deal? Of course, it's a big deal. It's a big
Hmm.
deal because, you know, what happens when you run out of water? What happens when these water bills jump up to $200-300 a month, just using it regular? What happens when you go to the store to buy water and it's 50, 60, $70 a case?
Right. Now
And
what?
right, and it's all because you didn't have people that's taking this water and they just basically being greedy with it.
Right.
And
And privatizing it.
right now, this thing about turning the sewer over to fresh water, this isn't just in California. They're also doing it in California, in Colorado, and they're also trying to do it in other states as well.
Wow.
Uh, there was it's another little quick one here, quick little 17-second one here. This is actually a lot of this stuff dealing with transferring the feces over to the water. This is actually Bill Gates' idea. He was one of the ones that actually first started talking about this.
Right. Mm.
Yeah,
Damn.
so this is something that they're trying to do. Like I said, it started out in California, which of course you know how they always do. They started out in one state, see how it works. If it works well there, They move it on
It's
to
gone. Then, of
another.
course, it's naturally going to go to the big cities.
Exactly. So, and being the fact that these billionaires are the ones that's going through buying all this land, you have no choice but to comply because
Mm,
they're not gonna give you their water. You know, so you got to figure out some other way. So either you gonna do this or you're not. You know.
right. And now it makes you worry about like, yeah, what happens when your water bill is like $300 or as much as your electricity? You know what I mean? Like, that's crazy.
Hmm. Yeah, I read a article too that over in Mexico City, like they
Mm.
on the verge of not having any water. Period.
Yeah, this I had no idea about that. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, they said they're almost out of water completely.
Wow.
You know, and then you have now on top of the billionaires buying stuff, you also have the Wall Street banks like Citigroup and a lot of the multi-billionaires that's buying up the water sources. They're not just buying them in the U.S. They buying them all across the world. They buying
Yeah.
all the groundwater resources.
Now this
For
sounds like a BlackRock move right here. This is what BlackRock is infamous for, is buying up a whole bunch of, land, and now they own every infrastructure of like every housing track and all of these things. They're the ones that paid and fund for all this, but then they make all the money on the back end forever, and buying up just private homes and stuff like that. Those people are like the definition of like evil, wanting to take over the world. The greed aspect is gnarly when you dive deep into this.
well, a lot of these corporate people feel that feel that that people shouldn't have rights to water.
Is this like a new world order at this point?
Well, it's pretty close. It's pretty close. Yeah, it's pretty close. You have the CEO of Nestle. Anybody know Nestle? And like Nestle the candy, Nestle Crunch. Okay. Their CEO, his name is Peter. Was it Brabeck? Yeah, Peter Brabeck. Now they also bought water rights, and he is the one who said that humans should not have the right to free water. Now,
Oh
uh,
shit.
now Nestle has a contract with the state of California where they were getting water, and Nestle has their own brand of water that they sell. Their own their bottled spring water. I should have went and bought a bottle of that just so I could show you, but I'm sure just about everybody on here done seen this Nestle spring water that they've been selling.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let me tell you about this spring water. So they were they were getting the water from California. California put a little lock on that. They was like, no, I mean, we already going through a drought. We can't keep giving you this water. So they went and bought water rights in the Great Lakes. So they go out and they have these huge um, boats, ships that they take out, and these ships are made to pull water. So it'll fill the hole up with water. The ship drops down because it fills up with so much,
Yep.
and then take it to a refinery where they do the same thing, process it, filter it, and bottle it, and then sell it to you. So you're not actually buying spring water when you buy Nestle. You buying water from the Great Lakes. You buying
Wow.
water that came out of Lake Erie, Lake Huron, Lake Michigan, Lake Ontario. This is where you're getting your water from. The water is coming from the Great Lakes, but they tell you it's spring water. Okay.
That's
Now,
crazy.
now you also know that a lot of those factories that go around the Great Lakes, where do their waste go to? The water, Great Lakes. That's where they dump their water.
Right.
that's where that's
That,
where a
that's
lot
where the shit's dumped.
right. That's where the sewage and everything else is pumped into from around that area there goes into the Great Lakes. Now you go through, you pick it all up, you do the same thing as you did in California, refine it, filter it a couple times or whatever, and you sell it out to the public as being this fresh spring water. It's not spring water. It's lake water. You know what I mean?
Wow. What a crazy, like, they would never want to admit that shit.
Yeah.
You know, but that's what's happening. That's crazy.
Yeah. So I got a little something on him too. Actually, I got two. So I'm gonna let one play, and then I'm gonna jump into the next one. They can see both of them, and then we'll comment on it right after.
Okay.
Water is the number one just thing in the world, I feel like, that you have.
A state surrounded by water is drowning in controversy. For years, Nestle, the world's largest food and beverage company, has bottled Michigan's water for next to nothing and sold it at great profit. Now, the state has greenlit the company's request to pump even more, despite widespread opposition.
And all Nestle has to pay for these millions of gallons of water it gets a year is $200.
And this in a territory where Native American tribes have treaty rights.
There is a perception around the world that Nestle goes into poor communities with lax regulations, entices them with the promise of jobs, and then takes their water, sells it back to them at a profit.
We have to go where the water's at.
What do you think Nestle should do?
Go home to Switzerland. What?
In 2016, bottled water surpassed soda for the first time to become the #1 beverage in the U.S. Here in Michigan, just days after the state greenlit Nestle's request to pump more water, the governor announced Flint residents would no longer be receiving free bottled water. People we met in Flint called out the irony.
Tax Nestle and give it to Flint. That's a slap in the face. That's all I ought to say. I mean, how would you feel if you had a $200 water bill and a $1 billion company was getting $1 billion worth of product for free?
Breaking news, drama in the French water world. Nestle admits it treats their waters, their spring and mineral waters, what they should not have done by French regulations. So let's check that out together. Hello everybody, here's Martin, your personal water sommelier. It's all over the news today on French headlines that Nestle admits that it treats their natural spring and mineral waters. But there's a little bit more to the story because I wanted to really read on it to see what's going on. So it seems like that Nestle already admitted and talked to the French government in 2021. So there were their own whistleblowers to say, listen guys, it's nice and good that you have this regulation that natural mineral water is not allowed to be treated, but we have to treat it for the safety of the consumers. What they're doing, they're using a carbon filter and they're using UV light. So carbon filter means they're filtering out stuff what you don't want to have in your water, but the overall mineral composition, so the taste of the water stays intact. And UV light has been used to kill microbacteria. The French regulations on the other side saying when a mineral or spring water natural occurring comes from the source, you're not allowed to treat it whatsoever. And I think here's now the problem. We all know that this planet is changing. And I think we all need to understand that even natural occurring mineral waters might need to be treated to make sure there's no contaminations now in these spring sources. Obviously, it would be nice that we don't have to do it, but let's be honest, we messed with this planet for the last 50 years and now we're paying the price for it. So for me as a water sommelier, you know my take. I don't like purified water brands because I think it's a scam to sell your tap water, treat it into a plastic bottle for a high price. This is why I don't like purified water. But I have to say I'm actually a little bit with Nestle on this topic because they're using a natural occurring mineral water, so the composition stays, and then they're just making sure it's safe for consumption. So they're not filtering everything out and bring back the minerality. So therefore, I think we need to find ways for the consumer as well. Maybe we need to update our regulations that it says natural mineral water treated for safety. Maybe that claim should be on the bottles. And then other mineral waters don't need to have that because they're still perfectly in harmony with our regulations, can then say natural mineral water. So I would love to hear your take on that. What do you think? Is it okay that we're filtering stuff to make sure it's safe? Or do you think it should be then not called natural mineral water anymore? I would love to hear your thoughts on that. Cheers, my friends, and remember, water is not just water. Cheers.
Okay. Now, one of the things that he said on there, did you hear when he was talking about that they filtered the water, but then they added minerals to the water?
Right. Yes.
Okay. So is it actually pure water if you add something to
Right.
it? You see what I'm saying?
It's definitely not pure.
Right, right. So basically, so you basically done took tap water and ran it through a Brita filter and put it in a bottle, and you selling these bottles for, $2 and $3 a bottle, or $6, $7 a case, or whatever.
Right. Whatever it is.
But it's basically tap water. You know what I mean? So, I can go out here and get a filter and put it on my water hose out here and just fill up all these bottles. You can just come by and just pick these bottles up. You know what I mean? I'm
Yep.
doing the same thing they doing. You know what I mean? I'm just making less money doing it.
Mm-hmm.
But how do you take something that is free? I feel that any resource, actually, any resource like that God made, that falls on regularly, should be free. You know what I mean?
I agree.
Now, if you collecting rainwater or whatever, what about the people that's out where they don't get a lot of precipitation? So when rain comes through, they have to gather it while they can, because it's not. I mean, if not, then they're not going to have water. What about the people that's off grid? That's what
Mm-hmm.
they trap rainwater. You know what I mean? And
Absolutely, that's what they do.
that's how they feed the crops. That's how they shower. That's where they get their drinking water from. And all of that. But you putting so many chemicals in the water anyway, because you got all these refineries and plants and people dumping sewage over into your natural waters, natural wells and shit like that. So you actually contaminating the water anyway. So there used to be I noticed, I know it's still there. But I haven't been back there for a number of years. Um, there was a natural spring in West Virginia. This natural spring ran straight down the mountain, and people used to stop there from everywhere. They stopped there and just fill their jugs up with
Wow.
water. They'd fill up jugs, they fill up tubs, they pull trucks back there and fill up uh, off of this. It was a natural spring, but where it ran through uh, so many different um, rocks, like aquifers. That's what that is. It's just the rocks, that it filtered itself so much that when it came down, not only was it pure, had no contaminants in it whatsoever, but it was ice cold. Even when it was 100 degrees outside, that water was ice cold. Everybody used to come get that water. You know what I mean? Nobody never got sick off that water, no nothing. You know what I mean?
Right.
And back where I'm from, a lot of people still to this day don't have running water in their homes. To this day.
Right. Wow. Wow.
So they relied on
On
falls
stuff
and
like that. Yeah.
that's the water from. You know. Um, and then you had like a lot of coal fields there. So that stream ran filtered through the coal fields, all that stuff. So, I mean, it came down, it was filtered. Um, but nowadays though, you got so many uh refineries and all this stuff, they dumping all these chemicals in the rivers and the streams anyway. Most rivers you can't even fish in them.
Nah.
Got all these damn mutated fish, and they, what I mean, you got 20
6
pound
eyes on them and stuff.
right,
You know?
right. You got catfish floating in Ohio River right now that's bigger than most Buicks.
Yeah.
I'm telling I'm serious.
Yeah. Yeah. For real.
They had a bridge collapse there back in the 60s. And when the divers went down to the pull, the wreckage and the bodies up that it fell down in there. The catfish was so big there that they ran them back up. The catfish ran the divers back up because they were so big. But that river,
Oh shit.
go all the way down the Ohio River, it is loaded with refineries up and down it. And what are they dumping in it? They dumping chemicals in that river left and right. So everything in there is mutated some way, shape, form, or fashion. So how much filtering are you doing? Because you don't really know what chemicals is really going into that water.
Right.
So how can you safely filter that to the point to say like, oh, it's okay. Well, it's going up under EPA standards. Well, EPA standards always allow a certain amount to go.
BS, right.
You know what I mean?
They allow part per million. That's what they do.
Right. You know what I mean? So like if you open up a can of corn and there's a rat turd in it, they'd be like, oh, it's still all right. Because under the EPA guideline, you can eat a little bit of shit, just not a whole lot. And I'm serious. But I try to make it funny, but it's actually serious. You know what I mean? If you went into a lot of these manufacturing plants that actually package food, made food, you wouldn't eat it. If you actually seen what actually runs around there, you wouldn't eat the food.
No, that's that. I know people that purposely will not watch like those crazy, videos, exposing the industry like that. And I know people won't watch it because they know they'll be so grossed out that they wouldn't be able to eat that anymore. You know what I mean? So they purposely like ignorance is bliss, like that's crazy. But it's true. It's very true. If you guys saw how things were treated, you guys would be like, hey, I don't know if I want to eat that anymore.
I know my sister, she used to work in this factory. They made pizza dough.
You muted yourself. What happened? I didn't do it. Hey, you're muted. How did that happen? Hey, he got something on his side that went mute. No worries. Let's see. Do you think it'll take longer than like 30 seconds? Because we got something for you guys at the end here. Something that's super special today. You said you'll be right back. Can't hear you yet. You're still muted. Yeah.
How about now?
Now you're good.
Okay. Yeah, it's this. I told you I've been having some issues with this Rodecaster.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to. It keeps.
I figured that it could have happened at any moment, so it's okay.
Yeah, it's kind of like the touch screen ain't doing what it's supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
But it has a mind of its own, and it wants to
swap on you and
right. It wants to jump around, so I gotta send it back.
No worries.
Yeah. So anyway, in this factory that made the pizza dough that went to like Domino's and Little Caesar and Pizza Hut and all that. So they worked there making the dough, and she used to tell me all the time like how in these big rooms where they kept this dough at, about the rats and stuff that was running around there.
Oh shit!
And they would it'd be rats on the pizza dough, like the actual pizza dough that they were still packaging it up and selling it because, like I said, according to the EPA, it's a certain degree that can be contaminated that still passes and it's still okay.
That's crazy.
So don't nobody really know this is what's going on, but that's exactly what's going on.
That's ugly, man. That's ugly. And dude, that's a crazy story. I know people in places can get dirty as hell, but like to have rats, it's in a whole different game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's gross.
There's a couple videos I got here. They're real small. It's one in Tennessee, Tennessee, Idaho, and Minnesota. All of them are basically going through the same thing, roughly the same thing. But I'm gonna pull them up and let you check them out. They're pretty small.
So we're on both.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna go from one to the next to the next.
Okay.
This is the beginning of government control of a massive amount.
Hold on, hold the phone. Whoa. It's not what you think it is, and it's definitely not what he is trying to portray. There's no government overreach in adjudication. What people don't understand is books get pretty crooked over the last 200 years when most of these water rights have been established, and it's time to go through and figure out what's what. And if nobody claims a water source, then who else is going to claim it? They're going to just sell it off to private entities? I don't think so. Adjudication is for the people, so that way you have your chance to claim what you're already using. And if another state tries to encroach on Idaho's water rights, Idaho already has its book straight, and they say, you sweep your house to find the crumbs before you come looking in our house.
Shit.
Did you see where they sold 5 billion gallons of water for $150?
I saw that. $150.
How do you get that?
Dude.
How do you get that? 5 billion gallons for $150.
Imagine how much that would cost you at a grocery store.
Yeah. I mean, what could you for 5 billion gallons, bro? 5 billion gallons.
That's crazy.
That's a lake.
No, that for sure. That's like a huge lake. That's insane. Wow. That's insane.
Yeah, that's a whole lake for
Triple P.
$5. You can't get no cheaper than that.
No, you can't. You can't. $150?
Right. Now you do, 8, 9 loads of clothes in a month, and everybody takes showers in the house is over $150.
Oh, easily.
And what? Probably let's say 60 gallons, maybe 70 gallons.
For real.
And you don't pay it over $100, but you can get 5 billion gallons for $150.
I want that deal. I want to buy that. That plan I'll pay for.
Mm-hmm. Now,
what the hell?
Tennessee, where it says that if you live by the water source that you basically have free reign to use the water that's in that particular spot, which should be true. As long as nobody has bought the water rights to that particular area. That's where it changes. Because if any normal stream or creek that runs by your house, yeah, you're more than welcome to use it, do whatever you want to. But if I bought the water rights to all that area right there, then that means that water belongs to me.
Right. And now it's all yours.
Right.
And you can do with it the way you want.
Exactly. And that's what they're doing. So, like I said, whoever controls the water controls everything. Because, without water, you die.
Right. Quite literally.
So what is that? Was it 3 days?
Yeah, 3 days, right?
3 days without water?
Yeah, I think it's 3 days or 3.5 days before your organs start shutting down.
Right. Yeah. So you got 3 days, and be like, okay, so what are you gonna do? Yeah, I'm gonna give you 3 days to figure it out.
Right. You got 3 whole days. That's it.
I'm gonna give you 3 days to figure out whether you're gonna pay for this water or not. And I guarantee you, by that 3rd day, you ain't gonna mind pay for this water.
Right. You're
You
gonna be
know,
like, I'll do anything. I'll get myself on a payment plan. Just give me my water so I can live.
hmm you know. So what is the what's the what do you think the end result of this is going to be?
The end result is gonna be exactly what's happening with the housing market. Is that it's all gonna become privatized like this. It's gonna be a monopoly 100%. And they're gonna own it. And not there's not so many people that own the water rights to like an extreme amount of land. Not that many people have that kind of money for land. And of course, when you're a billionaire, I mean, shoot, what's it to you to spend 10 million here, 15 million there, 20 million or 100 million or even a couple 100 million for huge amount of farmland for the agricultural reasons underneath and go, wow, I can make huge amount of money out of this because I know that there's a droughtage. You just look, there's a drought, there's you're kind of adding up two and two and go, man, then I can privatize this and this is all mine if you own the water rights.
hmm
So yeah, no, I see this just going down to a point where water is going to be very expensive in the future.
Oh yeah, very, very, very. Now here's another question. Do we go ahead? What about the farmers?
Right.
You know, the farmers gonna need. I mean, the farmers gonna need this water for the crops. You know, a lot of farmers use well water, especially when they out in areas that they're out in the country to where they don't get actual city water. They dig wells.
Right.
Okay, so if you dig a well that somebody done bought water rights to, is it your water?
No, you're stealing it at that point, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
You're tapping into someone else's water supply that
Exactly.
or water source, whatever you want to call it.
Right. You know, like mind you, it may be okay. This is my land here, and I got my well on my land, but this water is coming from over here, and
Right.
it's
Who,
flowing
who they
right
own it over there. Right.
over here, you
Mm,
know. So
mm.
you basically drinking the runoff from that came from my water.
That's crazy to think about.
Right.
Wow. No, you can definitely see how that can be used against you and in control.
Oh yeah. They have
And they're not like they said. This isn't the government doing it. This is our own people, citizens that have a lot of money, that see this and go, "Oh, look what we can do."
exactly. Now you
That's
seen on
capitalism. That part is, the highest extreme of capitalism.
right. You know, the one video that I played, the last one where the guy was first started talking about the Democrats, and then he got interrupted, and they were like, "No, no, no, that's not what it is," because it's a clear cut sign right there that generally that's all people think about. Everything that goes on, he try to make it political, and it's not political.
Right.
This is something. This is business. You know, they don't care about nothing else. They don't give a damn about who doing what in Washington. They don't care about that.
No, hell
They
no.
just mean I want this land here, so I don't give a damn about that. That don't got nothing to do with me, you know. But as long as I pay for this land here and I own the water and everything else on this land, then if you want this water here, you're gonna pay for it.
Right.
You know, or I'm gonna shut it down and ain't nobody gonna get it. And like I said, I give you a couple days to think about it. And when your tongue is stuck to the roof of your mouth, you come see me. Exactly. And
Right.
you my price.
Mm-hmm. And then they can raise the price on you again. Just be like, oh, now it's X amount compared to what you were gonna get because you were, you
Right.
know, man,
See,
the power of this.
right. See, and right now ain't nobody gonna say much about it because ain't nothing really going on. Now you have those, like in that one video, how you had those communities that Nestle was dealing with that was telling them to get away, what I mean, go away, stuff like that. Especially when you pumping water out of Lake Michigan, but you don't get the people in Flint water, knowing that Flint water is It's next to that. It's next to that shit in California, unfiltered.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but you gonna pull the water right down the road from them.
Oh man, you went mute again. You have to scroll through your settings again.
Oh, this damn thing.
There you go.
That thing get on my nerves.
We can hear you again though. You gotta love that.
Yeah,
We do it live, folks. We do it live.
Yeah, it's back on here. I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna pitch this some bitch out there in the street.
Oh shit. What up, though?
I'm gonna shoot this one video here. It kind of gives you the farmer standpoint and what is it that they're doing. Because you know, on the farmer standpoint, you know, they made a lot of canals and stuff like that that came off of the river, and that's the reason how they're able to get water back to these areas. So this guy here is basically going to tell you exactly on their end what they're doing to kind of combat some of this stuff.
I'm trying to keep an eye on moss and algae growth as we get through harvest season. It's famous for choking off low running canals because I don't have a whole lot of water in here and I'm not using a bunch. But whatever I need to use, I really need to use it. Everybody's got a big pecker till it's time to pull your pants down. What a lot of people don't understand is these canals are man-made. They weren't rivers that were naturally here. These were created in the late 1800s for farmers to water crops and divert out of the river. And we're going to go down the rabbit hole of why there is water rights. So we divert from a natural source, which is a river. But who gets the water? The people where the river ends or the people where the river starts? We all have to share it. It all kind of comes down to who was using it first and what were they using it for? Because it's all divided into shares. Not everybody can just divert whatever they want out of the river. We have a defined amount of water that we can divert as a canal company. Now, a canal company is just a fancy name for a co-op. It's run by farmers for the farmers. So when I talk about a canal president, it's a guy that is over the canal. And he's been elected by his fellow farmers to serve in that position. Usually, it's a job that nobody wants because they have to deal with a lot of shit. So when the farmers divert the water out of the river, they all have to share it fairly. And that comes down to how much ground you have, how much you pay towards the cost to maintain the delivery system. And at the end of the day, there's easements written into the regulation. So if you buy a piece of ground that has a canal running through it, I can let you water your cows out of it with no water right whatsoever. You're entitled to stock water. I don't care. A herd of cows isn't going to affect how my canal flows in most cases. And if you still don't agree with the argument and you think that this water is for everybody, go ahead and dig out front of your house and tap onto the city water main. I dare you. It's the same thing. The water was put there by people. And since it was touched by man, there's a cost to use it. If it still doesn't make sense, let me put it to you one more time in a different way. Imagine a single mother scrapping pennies together at the kitchen table to pay her water bill. She can barely keep her lawn alive because she's on a budget. But yet she has a neighbor that fills his outdoor swimming pool out of the fire hydrant with no meter. Doesn't that chap your ass? And this government authority. I do work with managing agencies, and it has something to do with lake levels, river flows, how much I'm diverting every day for the farmers. But when it comes to the whole government and telling you whether you can and can't run your water, that gets handled by the board. And each canal has a board. I deal with 7 of them. And the best part is they're all farmers that are elected by their fellow farmers. They do a pretty good job of managing it themselves. And nobody's trying to take food out of another man's mouth. And a canal board is newly elected every year. And so if there's a change that the average farmer wants to see made, they have the power to do it about every November. But at the end of the day, our goal is to make sure that the guy at the end, which is just past that tree, that guy up there, and also guys all the way at the top of the canal have an equal shot to make a living.
Wow. That was a really good explanation.
Right. See, now they actually bond together to make sure that everybody gets water. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So they put those, they set those pumps up. If you've seen on the one picture there, they had that big pump there that pumps the water to, you know what I mean, to various spots over there. And then they had another one so many feet out. You know,
Right.
because they have to. Now that right there, it goes along with what we was talking about up in Tennessee. If you have that, if that stream runs through your land, that you can actually go through it and pull that water off. You know what I mean, and be able to use it. You know, only if nobody has bought the rights to it, though.
Oh, your mic went out again. That's lame. You're like, man, this thing is going out the door. Welcome back, though. We can hear you. This is the part that we edit out, y'all. Don't worry about it. I agree with that, Miss Lotus. Kenny.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. It's not the IT guy.
It's not the IT guy.
Fucking roadcaster. But you know, with this damn thing here, remember I told you it was acting up like you sit there tapping on the screen.
You did.
And it won't do nothing.
You told me before the show. I'm like, well, if it happens, it happens.
Yeah, like I'm sitting here looking at it and watching it like kind of phantom going to different screens. I'm sitting here looking at it knowing I'm not touching it. And it's just going.
That's crazy.
It's just going to phantom screens, but it ain't doing nothing when I touch it. It's just doing it on its own.
Yeah, it's glitching out.
Yeah, so
Crazy.
whoever it is, stop fucking with my leave my show on to the show over with.
For real.
Man. So you know, I guess with this right here, I think the main thing is letting people know like exactly what's going on with this water thing, because there's a reason for the madness. You know,
yes.
People really not paying attention as to what's really going on, and you're not going to know what's going on until something actually happens. I think that's one of the biggest things that we talk about on here, is just kind of exposing.
Yes.
Things
Before it goes to shit, you know, we're showing you guys what you can do, and also the part of just at least knowledge of knowing what and why. Like, for instance, like this, I didn't know how deep it went with water. I'm sure I could have guessed it did, but I didn't know the actual equation to it. Now it all makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I think everybody needs to at least, you know, do your research and see who these companies are. There's plenty of videos out.
Mm-hmm. Yes, there are plenty of videos that you can go research and go find, and I'm sure of that. But it's a matter of digging and finding and getting the right stuff like that you collect, AB. It's incredible. Like all the video footage that you guys see, is always AB. Like he's the one that gets all that, does the research, does all of that. Like he's very intense with it. He means business. No, that's awesome. Welcome back.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man, this damn thing getting on my nerves, bro. But you had something that went on today. Is like I said, a couple different things went on today. Today was my mother's birthday. We put the little shout out for her on the. And hold on, what the fuck happened?
He's got it on. He's got it on point, y'all. He knows exactly where to go, where the exact setting is. Yep, gotta love it. I've had mine lose its shit on me before too.
Yeah, it keeps trying to. It keeps trying to start me. Keeps trying to put me in podcast mode. Is what it keeps doing. So it keeps muting me out, and I got to go through and unmute it. Like I said, we had the birthday, but then today is also the anniversary of when you had your accident. And
that's right.
Wanted to give you this little time here to talk about it, show your video, and kind of.
I appreciate you. Yeah. So guys, I'm gonna explain in the video, but today, March 6th, is a very special day for me. It's also one of those days I always promise myself I will never ride that day ever again. Just that day. You know what I mean? That one day I'm gonna take off. And so every year on the 6th, obviously, I make a video of basically a 1 year, not update, but kind of like a story about Mike and the story behind him. And so this is something that I made. I told you guys earlier in the morning. If you guys didn't watch the Black Dragon and Mike Biker News segment this morning, I showed the 2nd year anniversary. Well, now this is the official 3rd one. So here we go. I'll run it for you guys. Yes, sir. That was my 3rd year mark right there.
Wow, that's man. You know, when I first seen that, I was and seeing you sitting there with your leg gone, it was like wow. Like, you know what I mean? Like you can't even imagine.
No, it's still a trip today, because I never passed out. Obviously, you saw me just sitting there,
right,
looking at myself.
It was unreal. You know what I mean? It was like you was just like, wow, like what the fuck, man?
Yep.
You know?
At that very moment, they were trying to ask me because I was cognizant. They were asking me, the fire chiefs right there were asking me what happened. And that's when I was pointing back and I said, I got struck back there. You know what I mean? But like my arms couldn't move. All I could do was like point like that. And like while I'm holding my arms up, trying to explain to them because I couldn't move my arms. Couldn't do anything. I got thrown, 150 plus feet after my leg was chopped off. And then I tumbled like a tumbleweed, or a rag doll, and then I finally landed in the street and then they pulled me out where I was. And I just watched it all happen. I accepted at that moment that I was just, hey, I at least died doing what I loved. And I accepted it right then and there. So every single day since then has been a complete bonus.
Well, for all of that went on, and the fact that you still here to live to tell that story says a couple things. Number one, that day you wasn't meant to die that day, which means you had purpose. You are here for another reason. Now, it's been 3 years to that day, and I know even remembering it on this day is hard for you, but also take into consideration that you were spared for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
Your work isn't done.
That's right.
So, your leg, of course, is gone, but it can be fixed. But there's a story behind that, and the testimony behind that is which is bought a lot of different stuff that came your way that probably wouldn't have never came your way.
No,
So
and that's exactly right. You're 100% right about that. You know, I write within that video that I showed, and I write something that I'm going to share with you guys. I said, of course, March 6, 2021 changed my entire direction in life. I know the craziness that we deal with in our lives. I understand the adversities you might be facing, whether it be physical, mental, or even financial. I know what it's like to be in a hospital bed for 28 days with 0 visitors because we were in the middle of a pandemic and they wouldn't even allow my parents to visit me. I know what you may be feeling and may completely understand what you are going through yourself. You have to truly understand darkness to understand light. I wake up every single day thanking God I woke up today. Everything from here on out is a bonus. Strength is defined 10% physical and 90% mental. Keep your chin up. Today I celebrate my 3rd ampiversary. That's what we call it. And I'm thankful for all of you that have shown me love, been my support, and most importantly, thank you for your friendships.
Mm-hmm. Man.
Because no, I wouldn't have gone down this road. I naturally, of course, you know, I don't think a normal person would go down the road I have if the chain of events didn't happen the way they did. You know, and I gained and I lost so much from that. But even those losses have been even lessons learned. So it's taught me a lot about life. It's taught me a lot about becoming a man. You know, it's taught me a lot about the mindset and the psychology, the strength that the mind really is. The game is really played by the mind. It's not your physical attributes, I promise you. You know, you could be the ugliest dude in the world, but if you got confidence like a motherfucker, I promise you, you're gonna get yourself a woman in that bar. You know what I mean? It's all a mindset. It's a way that you look at. You know, those are the things in life. It's a mindset, and I try to preach that to everybody so that they can understand. Like, hey, man, if he can do it, then I sure as hell can do it. Or they're in the exact same position as me, going, I didn't know that I could do that eventually again. And that happens a lot. I get those messages all the time. And it's a blessing to be able to, you know, talk to these people that they don't really know or have anyone to talk to. Everyone's trying to understand what they're saying, but no one can relate. Everyone can sit there and try to understand, but actually relating to something is a whole different thing. So it's been a blessing, man.
Mm-mm. Well, I salute you, my brother.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
That's a hard fight. I mean, that's a fight that a lot of people couldn't even imagine that you've had to go through, but you have.
Right.
And not did you go through it, but you got a story to tell behind it.
Yes.
You know, and,
Yes.
And it didn't break your will or your spirit. You still continue to push on.
That's right. That was my you know, when I looked down and I saw that I had no leg and I was like bleeding out that very moment, I told you that I accepted it right then and there. I said, if I survive this, you know, I've got to accept this now. And so I did. I accepted it. So the moment that I woke up in that hospital bed, you know, after I had died X amount of times, because I died 4 times while I was in there, when I woke up, I was all smiles. You know what I mean? Because I just lived through all of that. I witnessed it. I didn't pass out. Like, I didn't have that luck. You know, some people have that luck of being able to black out, never remember. All I remember was I was riding and boom, I woke up in the hospital bed. I remember like I could paint you the picture of everything that happened. And so when I woke up, I was happy. I was actually legitimately stoked because I knew that I was gonna die. So knowing that and having that expectation, literally everything is a bonus if you're alive. They gave me an 18% chance of ever walking again. And I laughed and said, well, I survived this. I'm going to do exactly what I'm going to do. And I gave them both, the middle finger basically. And that was it. But they did tell me one thing. They said, if you replay this whole scenario 1 million times over, you would be dead 1 million times over. And that's something that's always stuck with me.
Wow. That's something. Well, we can say is, Mike, that we glad that you're here. And
appreciate you.
You got a job to do, and you know what it is, and you've been doing it. And like I said, you had doors open up for you. You should continue to have doors open for you. And so hopefully those doors lead you to what your actual calling is.
Right.
This is part of it, but this ain't
absolutely.
The whole.
No, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. And my ordeal is doing like what I just did, was being able to speak at an event about adversity, about facing and challenges and stuff like that. Like that, I went and talked. There was like kids that were in there that were talking about being bullied, suicidal, all this kind of stuff that they overcame. And then I was able to talk about what happened to me personally and be able to talk and reach to all these different people's hearts and go, though my story is a little unique to yours, we all got something in common, that we understand pain, so it's cool, man. It's been my true calling, I think, is being able to talk to people, being able to be on a stage and be able to present, be able to walk. When I go out onto the stage and do that whole stage presence thing, I want to come out and burn out on my Harley, throw that kickstand down with my left fake leg and hop right off and get on the microphone and start talking and going, look, your life ain't over. Like, these are the things I dream about.
Well, see, and that's what starts it.
Yeah.
This is your platform.
Right.
And like I said, this is just a precursor to what you're going to do. It has to start from somewhere. So like I said, this is getting everybody to know who Mike Ball is.
From the inside out, for real.
Right. Then once you get to where you need to be, then it's not like somebody going to say, who's Mike Ball or who's Archbishop? They know who you are, and they know what you represent, and they know what you're here for. You know what I mean?
Right.
And, it's not about, like some people would take what happened to you and be like, oh, well, I feel sorry for him. No, don't feel sorry for me.
Right. Like,
you know what I mean? Feel sorry for me.
Whole victim, that like, I'm not a victim. And
right. Exactly, because I didn't feel sorry for me.
Right. Exactly. If I didn't even feel sorry, then you shouldn't be feeling sorry.
Exactly.
Absolutely. It's very much a fact. When you accept that you are a victim in something, you already lost. You sat there and you accepted the defeat. Like I said in the video that I made, there is, life is about conquering one thing and moving on to the next. Is it not? Like, that's what we do as human beings. And so I can conquer all these other things. Why can't I conquer this and move on, just like any other adversity that we face? And so that's the mentality I've gone with it. And it's gotten me to the point where I am today, and I'm very blessed with that. I'm very honored. I've been able to speak stages already. I've been able to have a YouTube channel that most people don't actually are able to execute and have a show and multiple shows and stuff like that. I'm very blessed. And I couldn't do it without the people that believed in me and still believe in me. And, it's a hardcore job. It's one of these things that people look at and go, well, yeah, it must be fun being a content creator. It's like, let me explain a little something to you. This is not as easy as it looks. 80% of the job is behind, closed doors when no one's looking and you're sitting there taking time away from your family, or you are doing it in the middle of the night and you're losing sleep and sacrificing going to, having better sleep for work. You're sacrificing something somewhere. And literally 20% of the job is being in front of the camera, in front of you guys, and talking and hanging out. This is the fun part of the content creation part. But it's all that, content that you got to make, the thumbnail, the descriptions of everything, that you got to tag everything correctly. There's like a science, and I break this down with the company I've been working with Easy Way, is that every single platform have their own science behind them. Whether it's Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, stuff like that. They all have their own sciences. So, I kind of went ape shit and wanted to learn as much as I could about this kind of stuff, because I knew that this was the future. I knew it from day one. There was a few people that really believed in all of this stuff. And, I remember my parents used to go like, "What, you playing video games, streaming it to people? Why would they pay you to do that?" And sure as shit, next thing you know, they're going, "Wow, you actually making enough as a career out of this." That's insane. And that's how I started streaming years and years ago, when it was unheard of. Live streaming wasn't really a thing.
Right. Yeah, it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of perseverance. You lose a lot.
Yes, you do.
And you do what you do to keep the show going. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just for example, like, we made sure that this show went on tonight, but I've been battling kidney stones for the past 3 days.
Yes.
So, but I'm on here putting this show on to make sure I put this show on. Now, I'm gonna tell you, I'm not even gonna lie. I'm sitting here hurting like a motherfucker, but I'm making
I bet you I could feel it just from body language.
I've been, if you notice, I've been fidgety as hell, kind of leaning forward and all that. Yeah, it's hurting like some bitch.
But you're here, you know what I mean? It shows that dedication.
Yeah, right. But the show must go on.
Absolutely.
But on a good note, let me put this out right quick before we end this. I'm gonna let you close it out. I'm gonna say this right quick, and then you can close it out.
Sure.
First, I want to say thanks to everybody for coming out. Like always, I appreciate you more than you can possibly imagine. Next week, we'll have a different show talking about putting some more stuff out there. So like, follow, share, hit that like button, tell people, come on here and check out these videos. And man, the one last week, wow. I mean, that video shot up like within 24 hours. 1,000 people that watched it within 24 hours.
Yeah, I saw that.
I think it's like 2,400 and some change now, and steady going. You know what I mean? So continue to keep pushing it out there to people. Tell people to come over here and watch it.
Yep. And so, nonetheless, what you want to do is, I'm going to put this right here, Archbishop. Your donation and all of your Facebook, your Instagram, all that stuff is down there below. If you guys want to support the show, it means the world. Not just with donations necessarily. It also to do with social media. Follow the social medias. If you guys want to get in contact, there's his email, all that great stuff. And then if you want to donate on my side, there's channel memberships as well, and all of the super chats and stuff like that. But if you'd rather the money go directly to me and not cut to YouTube, you can hit me right there at Ball Valve on the Cash App. My Instagram and TikTok are the exact same, Ball Valve TV. And that's me, Mr. Archbishop.
Yeah, I was gonna put out the movie that me and Big Bone been working on.
Yes.
It's almost done. I think I was talking to the director today. There's like 10 scenes left, and the movies be done. And they're gonna try to get it out within the next couple months. But he also shot me the script for another movie that's coming out that he's
gonna do.
Yeah, that your boy gonna be in. And I got the script to it today. I ain't gonna put it all out yet because I don't know exactly what my character is yet, but I'm gonna be in another one. So I just talked about it today. So Yeah, so you know, I mean, there's some good stuff going on. There's some good stuff going
Yeah.
on. But it's
Yeah,
going.
absolutely. You know, we're sometimes we're going through it, but that doesn't mean that it cancels out all the good. You know, that's awesome. Good to hear, man. Congratulations on that.
Appreciate it.
That's a big thing, dude. Like being in movies is not an easy task, you know? So you just walking in there like you a pimp, just going, yeah, this is for me. What up? What up, though?
You know, you know how people say, well, you know, well, how did you?
Oh man, right when you said that, I'm so interested now. You left me on a cliffhanger. Right? Okay, Denzel. Right? Congrats. Yeah, look at that. Okay, Bishop. Congratulations. Yeah, see, more movies, man. This man's gonna be a movie star. He's gonna leave me in the dust.
Yeah, this damn thing gets on my nerves. Yeah, I can't. Yeah, this this fucker going back to the store ASAP. You hear me? ASAP.
No worries.
Yeah,
That's
man.
the
Go
way it
ahead.
goes.
Like I said, I appreciate everybody. Go ahead and close it out, my man. Because if this damn thing hit mute one more time,
Yeah, then you're gonna take things personal with that. You're gonna don't be pulling out no piece or nothing to deal with that board. Don't do that. Don't do that. Yeah. So, anyways, much love and respect to everybody. We cannot do the show without you guys. It's for everyone, whether you're on the Facebook group or the YouTube channel. Make sure you guys are going from one to the other. Meaning, if you're on the Facebook, we're not going to be doing the Facebook group forever, guys. We're going to make sure that we're streaming all of this live to the YouTube channel because Facebook streaming is almost 0 point. You know, they don't make it to where there's any type of monetization on the real back end at all. There's like zero reason for us to put it there when we should be forcing it over on YouTube. So follow the YouTube guys. You know, Diamond Effect. You type in Diamond Effect, it pops right up. Hit that, you know, subscribe button. You know, for me, I'm at Insane Wheels. And yeah, like I said, thank you guys for watching all the way through. It means the world to us for you guys to even be here. So I hope that we were able to clear up an insane message that I wasn't even clear on with water. So again, with that being said, we'll see you guys in 7 days.
One day I'm gonna be everything I wanna be. I don't let it get the most of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be everything I'm gonna be. My future right in front of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be free. Then let me be free. One day I'm gonna be free. Mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. One day I'm gonna be free. I'm standing at the crossroads. Feeling like a lost soul. Don't know where I wanna go, but all I know is I wanna be free. They're telling me to let it be, but that just ain't in me, no. Jealousy and envy, but all I see is I wanna be free. See everything I wanna be, exactly what I'm gonna be. Don't let it get the most of me. Eventually, I'm gonna be free. See everything I wanna be, exactly what I'm gonna be. Yeah. One day I'm gonna be free. If they would just let me be, I'm gonna be free. I told them take them chains off me and throw away the locks and keys. If they would just let me be, eventually I'm gonna be free.